before we hop into this recap episode and discussion of the scenario we just ran, I want to point you all over towards a little teaser trailer that we released alongside this episode for a little show called Orbital Decay. Now you're probably saying, hey, what's orbital decay? And just slow down. Let me answer. I'm about to do that, so let's just hold our horses, and at the end of it, you can ask your questions then. Orbital Decay is a series put together in collaboration with the fine folks over at Stories and Lies. If you're not listening to them, you are fucking up in your life, and you need to remedy that by going and listening to them. And I would say subscribe to their Patreon as well, because they're pretty fucking dope people. So anyways, you're going to hear me running Taylor and Matt from Stories and Lies, along with Jake and Tyler from our show, through 2 mothership scenarios, missions, whatever you want to call them. It's going to be 4 episodes, each one about an hour in length. We're going to do something different than we do on our show. I've edited them, added the music, and Taylor is going to add sound effects, so we get kind of the best of both worlds. And I think it's a really cool collaboration that we've done. We're definitely going to do more in the future because we all love Mothership. And yeah, we hope you guys like it too. So over the next 4 weeks, we're going to be releasing those 4 episodes. And then after that, we're right back into Delta Green. Jake's going to be running The Good Life. And yeah, that's pretty much how it's going to go. As we talked about, we want to do this to build a buffer for when Misha goes in for surgery, just to give her that extra time if she needs it. If she doesn't, we're going to be right back in the recording, and we're going to just be ahead. And yeah, it's just kind of a nice thing that we're thinking about doing. The other idea that we're kicking around right now is maybe doing a Starfighter 2 playtest, a couple episodes. But we'll let you know if that comes of light. We're still trying to figure it out because we'd have to use miniatures and we'd want to do some sort of tactical combat. And we're trying to figure out the best way to go about that. So without further ado, let's jump in to the Patreon folks. And they are Taylor, Drowrin, Miles, Randy, Yam, Colby, Thomas, Randy G. Sorry about that. Randy G, Laszlo, Hovo, H-O-V-O, Jeremy, Ben, and Garth. Thank you guys again for your continued support of the show. And if you want to be added to this list, check out the links in our show notes. You'll see a link to our Patreon. We've also got a Discord now if you want to talk with us. I'm trying to run a game every month on there too. So if you want a game with me, or hopefully I can wrangle in one of the folks from the podcast on there too. Join, talk. Oh, it's growing. So that's kind of there. Yeah, that's all I got. So have fun with this episode. Bye. So, as I talked about last episode, if you didn't want to listen to the full everything that happened, then I'm assuming you skipped that, and you're going to jump to this part of the show, where I'm going to do a quick recap of what happened, and then we're going to do a little bit of fallout from the mission, and then we're going to jump into us talking about a playthrough, or what we thought of the scenario. So I would say probably skip ahead maybe 5 minutes or so, to get to the exact point of where we're going to go into the fallout, and then we'll jump directly into the episode that we originally recorded, which was just us talking about everything. Cool? All right. So, we see our agents standing in this underground tomb, tunnel, cavernous expanse, holding hands as they've just teleported themselves into here. They are strapped heavily with weapons, Molotov cocktails, and all other sorts of things that they wish to use against this evil that they're going up against. Now, through time, some pretty good rolls, we see them eventually follow this organ music that has been playing and they come across the center chamber of this underground cavern, is the best way to put it. When they get to this cavern, they see a organ from a church set up, and there are 4 of these human-faced raccoons playing this instrument in kind of like a weird, fucked up Disney kind of way. That's how I kind of imagined it. They also see 2 of the 3 young children, a old man, bald, who visited them in one of the dreams, and they see a woman naked on a golden throne in the center of a ring of water. So that you're imagining they're up on a ledge. There is a sloped floor down to kind of a pooly reservoir of water, and in the center of that water is a golden throne, and this woman sitting on it. She's completely naked, and blood-red symbols have been painted all over her body. She also has a very large chest wound, as if someone has taken out her heart. Scattering this entire chamber are tiny bones that I will let you imagine what they are from. Now, this old man speaks first. Tells this group, bow. Bow before your new goddess. Let her have her way with you, and everything will be okay. We see all of the group start to kneel. Seems like a lot of the focus is on Blaze, because he's the strongest of the group. And then they decide to attack. Now we see Zeppelin run for the kids instantly. He's sprinting over to get these kids, get them away from whatever these creatures are around them, and get them to safety. The others open fire, throwing a Molotov cocktail at Lilith that does barely no damage. Thankfully, they turn their fire on the old man, who seemed to be trying to cast some sort of spell on Blaze, some sort of maybe infallible suggestion, maybe something to make him hurt himself or his allies. But it doesn't succeed. Blaze is too strong of will, fights it off. They kill the old man, and then they take the fight to Lilith. Now, Lilith has a couple, aces up her sleeve, one in her stomach. And a new combatant joins. Starts crawling towards Macklin. They're able to hold her off for a couple rounds. Nobody taking serious damage. Nothing super bad happening. And Zeppelin's able to get the kids and flee down the tunnels that they came through. Sparrow follows him. And we see that the 2 of them basically have to make 3 successful checks to get back to where they came from and leave. Macklin starts to follow. Blaze is the last to leave. And we see both Macklin and Blaze struggle to find their way back. Macklin eventually hits a tunnel, turns around. The human-faced raccoon folks are right on his tail, and he turns around and bear maces them. With one final check, Macklin's lost. Macklin is preyed upon by hundreds of these creatures. And we cut to Blaze. Lost. He can't find anything. Isn't able to find his way back. And he comes back to the center chamber. Through all this wandering, he's come back. And he sees Lilith there. And he sees the body of Macklin. Lilith, using her magics, resurrects Macklin. Tells him to capture his old friend to bring him here to her. See no way out of it. We watch as Blaze pulls every pin on every grenade he had, hug Macklin, and explode. We open up in New York City. Quick cuts of men in suits checking on various locations. One of them being Macklin's house. The other one is Macklin's studio. We see, basically, Trust and Truth is going on a little hiatus as his producer and friend, as we all know, is the lovable and always correct Carl Yoff, are interrogated by these folks. We see newspaper articles about a burned house, a construction project that has been plagued with issue after issue until the building itself is burned down. Zeppelin, Sparrow are debriefed, given their accounts of what happened. We see two families reunited, parents crying, hoping not to take for granted the time that they've lost with their child. Probably seeing life in a new light, wondering in all this daily grind that we put ourselves through, are we forgetting what the important things are, especially when they're taken from us? The children don't talk much about what they saw. Something about a talking kitty and darkness. We see one family around a gravesite, crying, giving up hope, getting the answer that no parent wants to receive. And then we see agents discussing Blister 2. We see a folder closed with a big fat failure stamped on top of it. Sure, tunnel was cut off, one of them, but multiple entrances into whatever this catacombs were still exist. Is it something that Delta Green has the finances, the resources to tackle? Or do they just hope that they're able to catch the pattern next time these children go missing? I think we zoom in one last shot. We see tiny little envelope. Something tucked away in Macklin's offices. Something not even the agents are able to find. And inside of it, we see another tape recorder. With maybe just a couple little tiny handprints on it. We are here to talk about all things From the Dust, as the dust has settled now.
Oh.
2 agents made it out. 2 didn't. And this was a scenario called From the Dust. It was written by Dennis Detweiler.
Can I say this entire time we're recording, Jake's shirt is just like this happy Asian man pointing at you, and I'm assuming it's like some sort of racing.
He's an F1 racer.
Yeah. But he's just like happy and pointing, and I keep thinking like I'm trying to do a good job because he's happy. And he's like approving of my actions.
He's like the guy that the Japanese guy that's like never give up. He's he's in the water.
I'm feeling good about it.
Never wear this shit out in public because it does just look like an Asian kid smiling and pointing at you.
What does it say?
Sunoda. His name is Yuki Sunoda.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Right on.
I feel like he's approving of everything I do.
He is. I think he liked it.
Yeah.
So this is a serial written by Dennis Detweiler. It's called From the Dust. It's based off of the horror at Red Hook is what this was based off of, and kind of modernized.
Nice.
And so, it takes place in used to be called Red Hook, but now it's like Brooklyn and all that. So that's where they kind of updated it. But it is very much there's a lot of stuff in here that's dark. So I was going to want to go around the table here and be like, what did you all think of this scenario as players? We'll start there, and then...
It was shorter than we're used to.
Yeah.
I'll say but from our experience, and this isn't a bad thing, it just seemed like, it was more contained. There was less of like, oh shit, we have to worry about 20 things. It was like, oh, hey, let's go like investigate this stuff, and let's just like take on the enemy. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
So like,
No, it definitely is very much I think a lot of the official scenarios are shorter in that.
I like it, honestly. It was a good, refreshing change.
Yeah.
You know?
Whereas, when I was putting them together, I wanted everything to have kind of a cohesive story. These are just kind of, you plug and play them.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Yeah. A little bit more rails, but not a bad thing. It was just like, it was guided. A guided adventure, one would say.
So.
I mean, it's a lot different than the other ones we've done. Like, in scope and pace and everything. It is.
I was wondering if you were going to catch on the Robert Saddam from the Red Hook, the horror at Red Hook.
I don't remember that story very well.
Gotcha.
I did not. I mean, the name. Maybe I'd read it before, but I couldn't. It didn't ring any bells for me.
I like how, as DMs, we expect Tyler to figure something out.
Well, Tyler's the one that knows the most about Lovecraft.
Right.
It's been a while, but I've read all of it.
Yeah. So, but Jake, what did you think?
I thought it was great. I thought it was a lot of fun.
More shock factor.
Yeah. It was definitely more mysterious than spooky.
Yeah.
Where I feel like Music from a Darkened Room and other ones that we've done have been very spooky.
Yeah.
And this one was more like
unsettling.
Yeah.
Unsettling.
I
think a lot of Dennis's stuff kind of has that where it's like unsettling, and then like it goes 0 to 100 at the end.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
But
cool.
I really like this. When I got to playing it, I thought it was really cool. So it was nice to be behind the screen here and see how the pieces flowed versus when I played it. Whereas like I was like, I don't know what we're supposed to be doing. Like, because when I played it, we went directly to the house and talked with everybody and basically like became part of the crew. So we didn't spend time really talking with the family members or any of that shit. Versus you guys really honed in on those other family members and barely touched the surface at the house. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
It's just also
barely
interesting.
Touched the surface.
Yeah.
So there was a lot we didn't discover in the house.
Oh, yeah, all the people. Getting to know all the people there and learning all those interactions. I kind of had to like force that as you had your montage we were talking, so it was a little less natural feeling.
Yeah, got it.
But yeah, what were you gonna say, Jake?
No, nothing.
Okay. But yeah.
I have a lot of questions.
Sure.
Can I start though before we get into myriad questions?
Do it.
I have to get something off my back.
I'm sorry you died again.
About that.
In a blaze of glory.
So
blaze of glory.
So you had the idea of like screaming. So why didn't you?
Because it was a half hour.
But like theoretically we could have you're sitting on your hands for a half hour.
Yeah, like, I think if we would have retconned, like if it was like 10 minutes, like because I didn't think I could go back and like retcon it. I think
you could have said like, I would have done this. Can we do this? Right.
I could have done that.
And even at a half hour, I think it's still.
I'll just tell you now, you wouldn't have heard it. You were so far lost.
Okay.
You had 3 failures. Like you had no idea where the fuck you were.
Well, just at least that's fine. Like it's failed, but like that's. Sure. I think it's crazy that because we had a device. But that was like I even said,
you're in an extra dimensional space. You're not underneath New York,
which is one of my questions.
You couldn't talk. Like nothing would have worked.
No.
Like,
sorry, I think people must have misheard me. We brought a like loudspeaker.
I think you're misunderstanding. He's saying that doesn't matter.
You had the loudspeaker though on you.
So
because you were going to carry it around, to play music, right? That was the whole plan, was play music, which maybe you had.
Maybe that
she wouldn't have had that. So you guys had radios that you were going to talk through, but you couldn't communicate from outside into the dimensional. So
it's probably miscommunication, because like basically what I said was, I'm going to bring the speaker so that when we get in and we're all separated, I can play it so that we all come together.
I do remember that.
Then because we weren't separated, I left it at that place, right? So the idea was it should still be there.
But if it's extra dimensional, I don't think it matters.
Well, we're just talking about it. But so the extra dimensional thing, like I understand if it was played at the house, but I'm saying if it was played in the tunnel where I was.
Chris is saying you are so lost and you're so far away.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's fine if it didn't work, but there's no reason not to have tried it.
So then what does it matter?
Well,
there's a perfect reason not to have tried it. You forgot as a player. Your character forgot as a character. It's just a panic.
Sorry, I don't think that's true. I didn't. I had nothing to do with it. I told like the room at the moment that we're like, hey, we're bringing it, and then we left it, and like I said that, and we're like, there it is.
But would you have brought Blaze back to play again?
I mean, once again, it doesn't matter.
I think it's a cool story. What's the difference?
I'm more discussing like, hey, what was the reason why we didn't do that? That was why I brought it up.
Because I don't care about the ramifications. It culminated in an awesome story moment. That's why.
Yeah, no, that's fine. And it still would have, even if we tried it. I was more like, we're here talking about our decisions, and so it's a perfectly normal question for me to ask.
But yeah, I if it was like 10 minutes, I think I would have remembered, Sparrow would have remembered the walkie-talkies, but she probably would have been trying that for the duration of the 10
nothing.
minutes.
With the static, nothing coming through.
And then, after like 30 minutes, I think she would probably be like, the whole tunnel is just full of raccoons, or she just wouldn't be able to find, like, they wouldn't teleport to the same place. Like, she's only teleported one time.
Right.
So she isn't like quite sure how it works. Or a positive, like she heard from you guys, but anyway.
How did she explain the teleporting? Because she was very logical. None of this is real.
Oh, well, there's a gas vein in the house that is, it causes hallucinogen effects.
Gotcha.
So like. There's a mass group hallucination we're all having.
Exactly. You know, it's trauma-induced toxins.
Okay.
That's just, it's logical.
Perfect. Oh, sorry, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, that might be my, like, I don't know if it I want to call it my favorite part of it, but that's the most unique thing I think we've done in Delta Green, is having this, like, there's been a lot of stuff that you can kind of hand wavy off, like, I don't know if that's really spells or whatever, but a button that teleports you into this crazy space is like,
you're touching a symbol and you're like
teleporting. Like that is direct, like direct contact with the unnatural.
Yeah. And you guys destroyed it, which you're supposed to do. Yeah. So,
and so, like, I really liked that whole bit of it.
Yeah. I love Jake, like, you describing it when you went through, like, that was such a cool moment. Mm-hmm. Like, I really, like, I was just like, oh, shit, like, Jake's fucking into it. I love it.
Yeah, if we were going to clip things and have, like, YouTube shorts, it would have been, like, that would have been, it's a clip.
Absolutely.
Like, I think so.
Yeah.
Thank you. The teleporting really caught me off guard. That was the very last thing I was suspecting.
Oh, when it happened in the game I played, we were just like, whoa. Like, I had the biggest smile on my face. I was just like, what the fuck, yes!
How did you guys discover in that game?
We decided to take the thing off of the wall, and we were going to get it out of the house. Oh. And as we were going down the stairs, one guy critically failed carrying it and, like, fell into it, and we just watched him, like, the end fell and he disappeared.
Oh, shit. Wow.
And we're like, oh, shit, like, what the fuck just happened? Shit. And then, he got stuck. And then he started crawling around trying to find out how to get out. And then same thing kind of with you. He appeared some random fucking place. Damn. And we had to go find him. But like we got it out. We put it we took it to the green box.
Okay.
So
nice.
That was our plan.
That was smart.
Because we didn't know what it was. So we got it there. But
yeah. That makes
but
sense.
the way ours ended was one of the guys critically failed a grenade throw. And so it blew up at his feet. And he had body armor. And that's the only thing that saved him, was he was at like 2 health from this explosion.
Jeez.
And so
you also got grenades.
One of we were dragging. The other guy had the kids. I had his body, and so we got through the thing. And like I think I either put his hand against the thing so he could teleport out, but then I scratched off the thing and like basically stood there and just like let my character get eaten so that they couldn't get out. So
gnarly.
I was like, the kids are safe. That was the mission.
Yeah.
Right.
But, okay. So what questions do y'all have?
What's in the duffel bag?
The bones of Robert Saddam.
Oh. Wow.
Oh.
Okay.
His skull, the skull on top of the organ is his skull, and the rest of his bones are in the thing.
Nice.
Interesting.
So,
Was there a way to kill Lilith?
no. She had 60 hit points.
Wow,
shit.
holy shit.
Everything you did a minimum damage, so 1 damage. And critical hits
shit.
did 2 damage.
Oh,
So,
so yeah. All
with
right.
so then were the grenades doing 1 damage?
1 damage.
Wow.
So she's still alive down there, just more annoying.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
She doesn't even care.
Yeah.
They're just going to have to find another
And
body.
she bangs Blaze, who's just
Yeah, so that was the one thing where,
charcoal
like,
corpse.
going through her stats. I'm going to read you some of her abilities here because I think they're kind of interesting.
Yeah.
She has no stats whatsoever.
just XXX.
So,
Question mark.
Lilith is always found in the form of a recently slain female victim, smeared in blood, faintly phosphorescent, and bearing a gaping chest wound. It is clearly something unnatural and horrific. It knows no guile and cannot assimilate into the outside world. So it's like not. Blood-clawed hands. Her fingers are ripped flesh that end in exposed talons, sharpened to points. The body possesses inhuman strength. Its claw attack is 40%. It inflicts 2d6 damage, and its strength is 25.
Damn.
Holy shit.
Yeah. She can speak any human language. She can, she knows your surface thoughts. And, like, if you guys would have, like, fucked with her more, she would just, like, start spouting off, like, prehistoric shit. And then that causes a sanity roll.
Whoa.
Yeah, like I said, she has 60 health. Human weapons appear to affect it, but every attack inflicts a minimum damage. Lethality weapons always inflict only 2 damage. Bullets pierce its flesh and leave only black holes from which nothing issues forth. Explosions seem all but harmless. Fire does not affect it at all.
Oh,
yeah, there
shit.
it
So
is.
grenades were the worst.
Fire, so flamethrower wouldn't have done anything
Yeah.
for her. She can control the dead, bringing any nearby corpse back into a stumbling semblance of life to do her bidding by copulating with it.
Okay, cool.
Any number of corpses may be animated and controlled in this manner. All have half their stats and skills that they had in life. They perish instantly in sunlight, leaving behind a ruined corpse. Seeing the dead shamble costs 1d4 sanity from the unnatural. And the final one she has, so she got 2 more. Give birth. Fecid and horror-filled, Lilith can spawn 1 child per turn. Each child has 2 HP, and each birth reduces Lilith's HP by 2.
Oh.
Witnessing these skittering corpses' children costs sanity from unnatural. They are entirely autonomous, and they attack those who oppose her and her followers. They have a 35% bite skill, so I barely made that one.
Especially after I knocked 20 off of
right.
it. Yeah.
Draining the blood for 1 HP per turn until they are successfully hit for more than 1 damage. Because of their small size, attacks against them have a negative 20% to hit. They have a stealth skill of 65%. They perish instantly in sunlight, leaving behind a ruined fetal corpse. Until dawn, sunlight in any form, even artificial grow lights, banishes Lilith instantly with a scream and a howl. Leaving its host corpse behind. It may not return to Earth until it's summoned in the next new moon or other celestial events.
Oh my god. Is there any way we would have known that?
No, there's really no way you could, unless,
So this really is just like, we have a mission, find the kids, and the characters will never get answers.
Right. Yeah.
Like they,
Saving the kids gets you sanity back. So, like, if we do home scenes, you guys will get sanity back for that. For
I'm not
rescuing the
using
kids.
Sparrow again.
But it's so. She's fucking wild.
That's crazy.
Like the baby thing, I was like, that's why I was trying to drop those hints in. Like, you saw the hands in her stomach. I'm like, okay, I could foreshadow like what's gonna happen.
Definitely.
some weird mother
So
of
if she got her
monsters
hands
bullshit.
on Sparrow, what would have happened?
You would have become the new host.
The new host.
They would have killed the children, transferred Lilith's being essence into your body, and you would become the new Lilith.
Oh, then, I mean, it's not a bad gig. Sounds pretty good. What were with the raccoons?
They're called old favored ones. They're just servants of Lilith, and so they are just these creatures. There's a huge amount of them, and they're just getting these children getting ready for the ritual, so that they could find a host and transfer her body into that host.
How are the favored ones created?
They don't really say. They're just there. Like they're just these like almost like what's the word? Like familiars in a sense. They're all kind of just like familiars to her.
That's crazy.
But these tunnels were nowhere. It's not New York. It's
Nope,
like
it's
an
extra-dimensional space.
Whoa.
Yep. So to destroy it, you have to either like destroy the symbols like you guys did, or like bring like a fuck ton of explosives in there to collapse it. Like you can collapse it, but it takes a lot.
Wow.
So I guess my next question would be, why did the room keep measuring a different measurement?
Oh yeah.
It's just that's the room where all the rituals were performed with Saddam. Like the cult did all their major activity in there, so it just was a weird fucking room that fucked it up.
Dimensional bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. I think it had something to do with the table itself. It just kind of always messed up. But that was kind of the main source of where they did their ritual, so it kind of fucked with everything.
Yeah. What happened to the third kid?
It died.
Where
they don't say
down there?
Nope. It just says 2 of the kids are alive. That's all it says.
All right.
So
is there like a specific reason why those kids are chosen? Just young enough and in the area?
Just 3 kids. I think they don't really give a whole lot of reasoning behind it. They just find 3. And I tied it into like Blister 1, where the 3 kids and like all of that. That was all just stuff I tried to come up with a whim to like make it seem like it was a reoccurring thing. They don't really give you any details in the book of what Blister 1 was. Okay. Like in our book, when we ran it, the organ comes from this church, and so he tied it to the church. Blister 1 was taking out that church that Robert Saddam and them were a part of, and like basically the church burned down and everybody fled to these tunnels after it.
Okay. Who was the bald guy?
Yep.
That was the cat that you guys saw.
Oh, what? No way.
Yeah, nice. the big orange cat.
You should put like a little bell around his neck or something so we would connect with the dots.
I was gonna have him in that form, but it costs like 8 willpower an hour.
Oh wow.
So I don't think unless he's out in the human world, I don't see why he would be a cat. Like, he's just basically like kind of like her Renfield. He's like her main servant.
Got it.
I wonder, like, how did he? Is there any history with him, or is he just some guy that found her somehow? Just curious how he because he's obviously not controlled by Lilith from the sex means.
Yeah. So like a lot of I think you can kind of play it where like a lot of those people are so let me get here. So his stats are what did I talk about here? He's the leader of the Favored Ones, was once a powerful wizard, and is perhaps 250 years old.
Whoa.
Long ago transformed into a witch's familiar. It has many rituals at its disposal. When it wishes, it can appear as a strange, huge black and white cat. I thought that was kind of lame, so I did orange. I thought that much stood out more.
Orange cat energy.
It's one of those few Favored Ones who will even dare to venture outside during the day. Arvacan can access many rituals. So he just he could summon Migos and Ifrits.
What?
And I didn't really make sense, so I didn't want to do that. I figured like the compel, like the one thing, the infallible suggestion made the most sense, where he would like pick out which one of you was a threat, and then try to get you to do something dumb. So that's why with you with the grenades, he's like, I can take him out. He's got all the grenades.
Well, taking him out, that's a pretty big feat.
Oh, it was huge.
250.
He had Wither, but I don't want to do it again.
I know, right?
I've already done it twice.
Yeah.
So I thought infallible suggestion would be really fun.
Get a new spell, bad guy.
Right, that was the thing. He also had like obscure memory, so I thought about that, where like if there was one of you left, he would just like wipe your memory of what was going on.
That's pretty cool.
Cool.
That is
there's a lot of stuff in there. But yeah, they're just, these Favored Ones are just kind of like witches familiars. And there's like a shit ton of them down there. Like it says in the book, if you fail the luck roll at the end was to see if they pick up your scent while you're in the tunnels.
Okay.
So then they start fucking with you. And if you take any hostile actions against them, they kill you. Like that is the end of your character.
Okay.
So because you tried to bear mace them, they just
sense.
fucking swarmed you and ate you.
And like that, there's no recourse.
No, there's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So if we found Lottie, would that have changed anything?
What's with Lottie?
No. Lottie was I used it as a red herring. I mainly did it. She's there. She's just kind of like a druggie.
Yeah.
She's just kind of I think they're trying to get you as the red herring of like, what is she?
Right.
And I toyed with the idea of her actually being like Lilith for a little bit, but I was like, nah, it seems too fresh of a death.
Yeah.
Like this is like the end of the cycle. They need to do this again, so the body would be a lot older than her.
Right.
But I like the idea of you guys have just been exploring her. Not exploring her. That sounds really bad.
I mean,
you guys have been looking
us.
into her and whatnot. And since these guys have the powers to read your surface thoughts, they could latch onto that and do it to like try to entice you. And like a lot of it for me was like them showing her as like, oh, look, she looks just like the girl you're looking for.
Yeah.
Right.
Here's where she is, and you might like try to come save her. A lot. That was kind of my thought process behind them doing that. Well, that's why Jake and Tyler's character, having never seen her, they just saw a woman. You knew her picture,
Yeah.
so they latched onto that and did it.
Oh, okay.
Had the other two seen her, I would have played up the Lottie thing more. I even thought about having to be Sparrow's face at one point, but I didn't want to. Like, I don't feel comfortable doing that with your character.
Right.
Yeah, it's all good.
Like
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So the bone we know Sudam's bones were there. Did they need Sudam's bones for anything specific? I didn't hear that.
He was just part of like this is his cult.
Yeah,
like
gotcha.
he was part of this cult, so they had him like he was the leader, and he would help summon Lilith. And so yeah, that's why they had him there. He was just kind of it was important to them.
Was that the origin of this? Like in terms of this manifestation of
I
Lilith?
believe so. Yeah, like this was his cult was tied to Lilith
Gotcha.
and getting her here and all that. Like the original baby murderers were to help bring her. So there, I think there's even like maybe hints that like his wife's. My original idea was to have that it be the wife, but you guys wouldn't know what she looks like,
Right.
so it'd be tough to be like it's Saddam's wife.
Yeah. So in that, if that's true, I mean by destroying all of the ties, symbols, ways to teleport to this city, like does that mean that we essentially like deconsecrated this place as much as we could have?
I mean, if you burning down the mansion, definitely got rid of that. That was a big source of it.
Yeah.
I mean, there are still other avenues, as you guys saw. There was ones that put them, like you guys popped out in that couple tunnels.
Yeah.
So they're still there.
Yeah. And there's probably still
But
way
a
to
lot of it was tied to that house and that that board and everything. So,
Gotcha.
I'm curious about the power tools.
It was just it's mainly just them like fucking with the people in the house because they don't want them there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just them like they would chew through the power cords. They would like just fuck with them because they didn't want them there.
That's because you said they were cleanly cut. That's why I was like, someone like snipped them with scissors. So if they were like,
I'm thinking
chewing,
they could have like they're smart, so they could have used like they could have used like blades and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right.
They have appendages enough to do it. So.
What was the origin of the slab upstairs? Does it ever say like how it got in the house or
it
who
was, did it? Yeah. So it is it says here, what does it say? To those in the know, the plate is a portal that allows access to the space once used by Robert Saddam and the Red Hook cult of Lilith. For a man, a small size of the plate requires like hunching down. Smaller beings can pass through easily, so that's why you guys were hunched down.
Right.
And then touching the surface and merely trying to enter it is all that required to activate the gate at the cost of 1d4 sanity from the natural and 1 willpower. Those entering appear to move along the impossible perspective into the surface of the wood, along with the strange shallow angles receding the physical space along a vector that cannot exist in 3 dimensions. So yeah, there's just a portal that they created to get to the space.
What the heck?
So
That's cool.
yeah, so you could take it, you could destroy it. Like there's a whole ton of things you could do with it.
Damn.
So
What did we miss in the house?
Yep.
nothing. I mean, besides talking to all of the people, there's not the main focus is like that room 35, getting you guys into there. And then there was nothing in the basement. It's just kind of again red herring.
Yeah.
Trying to fuck with you guys,
Which I hate.
Like,
I hate that.
make sure to keep you on your toes. Like,
Yeah.
is it real? Is it not?
Exactly.
I just so that way it's easier for me as we go through this stuff. That
Yeah.
well,
Miss anything outside of the house?
no. I mean, you guys
Nice.
pretty much covered everything. There's not a whole lot with the family. Like, they don't really delve into the husband that they suspect or the mother-in-law and all that.
Right. Yeah,
It's really just getting to the mansion, talking with the crew, understanding what they're doing, and then
Getting you into that space.
getting you into that space.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's the main focus is getting everybody there.
That's dope.
So
Yeah, no, it's good.
yeah, no, absolutely. I think very much it is a fun scenario. I think the ending is wild.
Yeah.
Like when we got to that part, I was like, okay, I like, yeah, just trying to figure out. A lot of it for me was like trying to figure out the steps of like what's going to make sense here.
Yeah.
Like I knew the baby thing would be like really gross up front and like shocking. So I was like, I want to have that happen
The
pretty
zombie
quickly.
baby.
And then if any of you had died, I was just going to have her like completely ignore
Yeah.
everything around it and just go fuck the corpse so that
my
person
God.
would rise like while you guys were watching.
Yeah.
If it wasn't so graphic, I would say it would be a great first place to start for Delta Green.
Yeah,
like
but
if you have
Actually,
a group that might want to do it, but it's because it's like so severe, it might be good.
And
a
you
little
could
bit
play, like
later
we
down
didn't
the
play
line.
that up, and when we played, like he
Yeah,
completely ignored
totally,
all that.
yeah.
Like he didn't have any of the babies.
Yeah.
He didn't have any of that. He's like, nope, I'm not gonna like.
Nice.
He didn't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. So you could
Get
run
that.
it without all that.
See, aren't you happy that I brought up the Parmesan cheese feet? Because
No, I forgot
like,
about that until
you have these expectations that are that bad, but then Chris brought it back, so it wasn't as bad as Parmesan cheese feet.
You keep crossing the line, I said.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do we need an X card made?
Yeah.
It's going to be an M card.
That's my veil and what are those things called?
Veils and lines.
Veils and lines.
Yes.
That's my line.
Wow.
So
Parmesan.
yes.
I make people
Feet.
uncomfortable.
Ugh.
Put that on my tombstone. She
But-
tried.
No, I thought I think it's really fun. Yeah, I think so. I think it could be a good intro scenario.
Yeah, right.
And I think there's enough meat there. It's not super long. Like realistically, you could probably do this in like 2 sessions.
Yeah, I was
Right.
going to say, like,
So-
it seems like, I mean, I feel like it took longer for us because, like, we went in and
Came
then
out.
came out and then continued to check on stuff
Right.
and then decided to go back in. But, like,
Yeah.
we could probably just go in and do the whole thing.
Yeah,
right
I think
there.
we did it in 4 episodes with Stories and Lies.
Yeah.
I think it was about 4 episodes. We banged it out.
I feel like we probably did it. I'm not going to say wrong, but I
No,
don't think
but-
I don't think we necessarily did it like how the book expects.
You were
Yeah.
expecting more
Yeah.
with the families.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And you were like
there's-
trying to do an actual
Like, there
investigation
may
with
be,
the kids.
maybe the connection is
Right.
the families
But no,
specifically or like the area, but really it's just
it's just
random.
this house.
I
It's
think
this
that's
house.
what I have to remember. The difference between like Call of Cthulhu and Delta Green is like we're not investigators. We're
Right.
agents. We don't need to investigate shit all. We can just go down to the tunnel and murder Lilith and then leave, and then the story's over. But
Yeah.
I
think
liked
it's
it. I
better.
thought it was
I
fun.
mean, it's like in our best interest a lot of cases to like know what we're getting into. So yeah, it's a tough line to walk. Yeah.
We always want to know more, so
Yeah,
it's not like
exactly.
we're gonna choose to not.
And what would you do? Or, what would your agent do? I think like,
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah,
So I
that's
think
definitely harder to differentiate between the two. Like, I know what Misha would do, and she would just scream and yell and be like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Yeah.
But
Why's
then,
that baby?
yeah, but then like FBI agent trained, keep your wits about you under pressure kind of thing. Like, yeah,
And it's something I'm trying to think about. Like, as spoiler alert, Jake is going to run the next mission, and I'm really trying to think about, as a human being, what would it be like to know that like God is real?
Right, exactly.
Like, how would that fuck with your psyche? Like, how, like, if you were not say you experienced something supremely unnatural in this world.
Yeah.
Like, you've seen things, your character has seen something that has changed them fundamentally. And I would liken it to like finding out that all this stuff that we thought was like, oh no, yeah, there's something like higher power. Like, how would you handle that as a person? Like, maybe I'm not religious, so like I don't have that dogma. We're like, well, God is real. It's like, no, it's just made up bullshit stories to make you feel better.
Yeah.
Like, they're,
it
but
reminds me of an episode of The Simpsons where like Homer, for whatever reason, I forgot the reason, but he became like super, super smart. And he goes up to Flanders and he's like, by the way, I accidentally proven that God doesn't exist. Here's a pamphlet explaining everything you need to know. And he just like walks away. And then Flanders is like, well, I gotta burn this. And then he like looks around the corner and Homer's like just passing out flyers to everyone's car and like houses. And Flanders is like, oh no.
yeah, so like I like that was the mindset going into like Jake's game. I'm trying to look at is like how would a person react to that and like keep it normal?
Well, not only that there's a God and it exists, but it probably hates you.
Yeah,
To kill you.
Like you've
or,
seen like
or
some
just doesn't care.
Yeah,
or
so.
there's several gods,
Right.
and they're all trying to kill you.
Because like we don't know all that. Like we don't
Yeah.
know like Yog-Sothoth and all of those, but like we know that there's something out there that's greater than us. Like we're minuscule. And like how do you? I don't know. I was thinking about that as like trying to get into a character headspace for this next game of just like what like. I feel like that person would be super insufferable, so like I don't want to play it that way. Like it would, but would it make you a nihilist? Would it make you like that? I don't know. But, yeah. But no, I thought you guys did good. I thought everyone here.
If you
played
gave
their
us like a
character
letter
well.
grade, what would we get?
I think you guys got a solid B.
Oh, I hate that.
I mean, you're not going to beat Lilith.
That's 2 letter grades higher than I'm used to. So,
So there we go.
I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, no, I thought I appreciated you guys. You zigged a lot where I wasn't expecting you to, so I had to try to like flesh out a lot more. So that I like that. It was nice to be able to. Hopefully, it felt natural to the point where you weren't sure it wasn't like I wasn't pulling stuff out of my ass. But
Can you just like in future campaigns, if there's a possibility for extra credit, just let us know.
Will do.
There's somewhere in there.
okay.
I want to aim for it.
But no, I thought overall I thought you guys did really well. I thought you guys. It took you a little bit to get to the house and start exploring all that.
Yeah.
But I also get like there's not a whole lot of setup to lead you to that. Like, they say, hey, go investigate this mansion kind of thing. We think it's all tied to this mansion. And then you go there and without exploring everything, like when I played it, yeah, we just walked up and we're like, hey, you guys need day laborers? They're like, yeah, like, cool. Like, sign us up. We'll be day laborers.
Oh,
and we just walked around talking with everybody. And they're like, well, we need night crew. I'm like, cool. Yeah, we'll do night crew too. Like, what do you, so like all three of us were night crew. So then we were able to set up all the cameras and do all that stuff and like be on the payroll,
right?
And then we could go through everything, and then like way we could erase footage and stuff like that. So
we were like all professional, like we went through LinkedIn and then like had an interview and everything. Yeah. And like you just walk up and be like, "Can I work here?" And they're like, "Yeah, sure." Whatever.
Well, that's what I like about it. Like they make it explicitly clear in the book, like they are way behind schedule. They will take anybody. Like they don't have a night crew. That's why with Blade, it's like, fuck it, we'll give this guy a shot off the street. Like we have nobody.
Yeah.
So what's the worst that's going to happen? He leaves like the rest of us. Like
yeah.
Can't find a good work these days. Yeah. No one wants to work.
Not in this haunted house.
So,
sigh.
Anybody have any other questions? Or
no, you answered them all.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else.
All right. So this was From the Dust by Dennis Detweiler. Thank you for putting this out there. It's really pretty new. I think it's going to be going into another volume of like missions eventually.
Nice.
But this one came out, I think it's been a couple months now. So it's well worth it. I would say definitely pick it up. I loved it. I probably would like to run it again for another group. Are either of you, you're never going to bring Sparrow back, right?
I don't think I'm going to bring Sparrow back. I think I'm making a new agent for Jake.
Okay,
yep.
Cool. I don't know if you guys want to do home scenes real quick or whatnot.
No.
I didn't have anything particularly special for my home scene.
Okay. I think, I know we kind of ended it last with the joke because I felt that was a good ending, but I feel like I think we would see your agents call Delta Green, explain everything. You drop those kids off. If you talk with the kids, they give you some information too, like as much as they remember.
Well, the 2-year-old could maybe get a little.
Yeah, they just tell you like the cat talks and they're scared and they want to go home and stuff like that. And so,
but then they're like, "What?" Because their eardrums are blown
right?
out?
Yes, because you destroyed the eardrums with grenades and gunshots. But I mean, it's a pretty large cavern, so maybe it wouldn't be too bad.
Some more echoes.
Yeah, they're little baby ears. They'll grow back. So, but cool. Well, we will end this episode here.